President Hage Geingob is participating in the 43rd Ordinary SADC Summit of Heads of State taking place in Angola's capital, Luanda. The 43rd Ordinary SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government is being held under the theme Human and Financial Capital, the key drivers for sustainable industrialization of the SADC region. To give more detail on this, we're now joined by NBC reporter Blanche Goreses. Blanche, good evening and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon.
Blanche, kindly start with giving us an overview of what's taking place today and tomorrow at the 43rd Ordinary SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government.
This is an annual summit of the regional bloc whereby they take stock of what has been achieved throughout a particular period, or I would say the 12-month period within the chairmanship or under the chairmanship of a particular country. In this case, under the chairmanship of DRC, chaired by President Felix Tshisekedi, who took over last year in August, and Namibia chairing the organ, that's now Organ on Politics, Defense and Security. So it's an annual summit that takes stock of what the regional bloc has achieved, what are some of the challenges and the topical issues that are pertinent to the region. So that is what is taking place, or that is to take place tomorrow. That's now for the main summit. But today, I just stepped out from the Organ Troika Summit. That's now the chairperson, Dr. Geingob, in the summit, attended by the incoming chairperson, Hakainde Hichilema of Zambia, as well as the outgoing chairperson, that's President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. They are currently in a closed door meeting, but we were at least allowed to engage the views. So that's during the opening session that just concluded a while ago, a second ago.
What are the pertinent issues regarding the region that is set to be addressed at the summit, Blanche?
The ones that I can state now, what the region is occupied with, is the security situation within the eastern DRC, or the border, the eastern border that is now with Rwanda. That situation has been on the agenda of the regional bloc, and then the ongoing SAMIM operations in Mozambique's Cabo Delgado province, as well as the stability that has returned, or some sort of stability that has returned to the Kingdom of Lesotho, and then the upcoming elections in SADC regional member states. That's Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe will be hosting or holding its general elections in about a week's time. So these are the discussions that I presume will continue to dominate the regional agenda. Of course, the region will have to also review the indicative strategic development plan that is now aimed at industrialization, as well as integrating, or the integration aspects of SADC. So those are the usual agenda items that will occupy the heads of state and government of the SADC regional bloc. But the most pertinent ones are the peace and stability. I must mention that among the 5 regional blocs of the African Union, SADC is known for its stability. SADC is known for its decisiveness when it comes to taking action on member states. Let's say there is an instability or an issue that threatens stability and political stability and economic stability in the region, then SADC is known as that regional bloc that will take an immediate and decisive action. Of course, that is where even SADC directed that there must be a tripartite summit, pardon me, that's now between the AU, the regional bloc, and all the other stakeholders that are involved in peace efforts in Eastern DRC. That summit also took place in June this year. So President Geingob is about, as the chairperson of the organ, is about to share also the progress made in that regard. So these are just multifaceted issues, but at the same time narrowed down to the 12-month period.
Mm-hmm. And who are some of the country leaders or representatives attending the summit?
all the 16 member countries are here, either represented by the heads of state and government or their foreign affairs minister. So it is a must for all the regional bloc member states to attend.
Do you know of any bilateral or multilateral meetings to be held on the sidelines of the summit, Blanche?
Bilateral meetings are subject to what the leaders or the countries decide. Let's say President Geingob wanting to touch base, this is just an example, President Geingob wanting to touch base with President Masisi of Botswana, then the two of them would agree on meeting on the sidelines of a multilateral platform such as this one. But nonetheless, as I said, it's a multilateral platform that will involve discussions by all the 16 member countries. So far, on the president's agenda, I haven't seen a bilateral meeting confirmed, but for the multilateral meeting that is now the SADC summit, that will take place tomorrow.
Blanche Goreses, thank you for your time this evening. Thank you for joining us. Well, that was our colleague Blanche Goreses talking to us from Luanda, Angola.